Hello, everyone. It's me, Andrew. Hopefully, y'all are doing well out there. Um, it's been a day, y'all. Oh boy. If you're watching, say hello. It's always nice to see who is tuning in. It's been a day. I stayed up pretty late last night working. Um, and William got a request for an appointment at the Johnstone's shop. So he ran up there, and I was going to rest while he was up there. And turns out, while he was up there, the furnace went out. So it's been kind of a headache, and we've been like texting furiously back and forth. Um, and luckily, our tenant was able to look at it, but we're going to end up having to call an emergency HVAC person to come out, which is less than ideal, of course. But yeah. So he was going to be on tonight, but since he's up at Johnstown helping coordinate all that up there, I'm here tonight. So hopefully y'all are having a little bit easier. Like as today started off pretty good. Like we were in kind of a good mood. Um we had a good weekend. It was really fun. On Saturday we had our first annual sip and shop event, and that was really nice. It was good to see some folks, make some things. Um, and it was nice because, we were like, oh, well, we can kind of relax now. And then not really relax, but, not quite as frantically push as we were just previously to that. And I was like, oh, this would be nice. And then Sunday, I had fun. I hung out in at the cottage with our friend Cindy, and we ended up prepping a bunch of copper for some enameled pieces that I'm working on. And I showed her a couple different tips and tricks that I use. And then yeah, so then excuse me. And then last night I got a bunch of work done. I was super proud of myself, and I was like, "Oh, well, this is gonna be great." And then I got a message from William. He's like, can you do the live?" And luckily, I just happened to wake up and see it, and I was like, "Okay." And then that's when he told me all about the furnace going out. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's not super expensive, and they can get somebody out there and work on that because um I mean, it's been a hard year. um and it's been there's good things, there's lots of good things, so don't let me ever make it sound like it's all doom and gloom. But it's been a challenging year. We've had a lot of setbacks that we had to restart on, and yeah, when you have to rebuild something, it takes a lot of time, energy, and heartache sometimes to make it happen. So, anyways, we let's all send some positive energy out to the Johnstown location and have the furnace not be a big issue. Our upstairs neighbors, he helped out a little bit to try to get it up and running because he's pretty handy, and they changed out the thermocouple, and that didn't work, and there was like a wire that had looked pretty suspicious that had needed to be changed out, and they changed that out, but that didn't work. And so hopefully it's an easy fix and something that they're just like, oh, we just need to flip this switch. I don't think it's going to be that easy, but hopefully. So knock on wood all. All right, our friend Susie is watching. Hey, Susie. Our friend Anne is watching. Um, I see Anne. I see Norma. And says, "Oh no, that's a pain. I'm sorry that happened." Yeah, it kind of is not my favorite, but and somehow that stuff always happens like in the most inconvenient time, like the day before Christmas Eve, or like when we're like financially kind of held together with shoestrings and duct tape and a little bit of spit and wishes. Um, it never happens like when there's somebody like conveniently available and when you have lots of money and it's out. Hopefully it's not a big deal. But we'll just go with it. Norma says, we are lucky in this area in that most HVAC companies do not charge extra after hours and weekend work. Well, that's good. Yeah, William said that, I don't know I don't want to say what he said, but, our friend Charlie's over on Instagram. She says, hi, I'm cooking clams and potatoes. That sounds good. We're probably going to have some roasted potatoes tonight as well. I don't know what we're going to have with those potatoes, but I par cook stuff sometimes so that it's quicker throughout the week, or at least I'm trying to do that. And Charlie says, "Oh man, that is a day." It's been mostly good except for that. I was kind of like super like pumped because we had the weekend was really fun. And if you got a chance to come out, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We had fun and we had so many cookies and cupcakes and sangria and stuff that we decided to extend it to a second day. And a couple of folks came in, not as many as the first day, obviously, because we didn't have a chance to advertise it really well that we were gonna extend it. But William was gonna be there already, and we had plenty of stuff left over, and we don't want it to go to waste. And we also didn't want to eat it all by ourselves because otherwise I'm gonna be like look like chipmunk. So, anyways, that's what we had going on this weekend. And then I stayed up. I talked to my mom yesterday. We talked for a couple hours, and she seems to be doing all right, all things considering. This time of the year is a little bit rough. And so, my dad died last year. And so she's kind of, in a mood, understandably. So, yeah. So I was talking to her last night and she's doing all right. There's certain challenges, I think, because she is getting to the point where she's more homebound. Um, and it is harder for her. Both my mom and my dad were super active people and not necessarily active in like climbing mountains and like doing a bunch of stuff like that. But they were always like working and like providing for their family or trying to do something. So it's harder for her to be more immobile. But she's been crocheting a lot. Um, so that was good. She's keeping busy that way. But I think because she used to be so active and now is not active, um, that, it's harder for her. But hopefully, well, I was trying to figure out a way to go down there, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. with everything going on now with the furnace. So we'll see about that. I am supposed to go down south for a retreat, so I may, and that's already locked and loaded. I don't care what's happening. The room is paid for, and I work hard. I painted my little heart out to get that money for that room in there. So and I canceled last year because my dad died. So I'm not going to cancel this year. So I don't care what happens. I'm going to still go. But since I'm going to be down south anyways, it's not really that close. I mean, south is like big. It's not just like, a hop, skip, and a jump from Tennessee to Florida. But I may try to, if I can rustle up some extra gas money, I'll try to go maybe for a couple days and see her down there, because I think that would be good. She'd like that. So we'll see. That's kind of an unexpected thing. So we'll have to figure that out with everything going on, because I'll pretty much not be here at all in January then at that point. So we'll see. Anyways, so hopefully you all had a good day. If you're doing anything, let us know. What are you having for dinner? This is kind of a fly by the seat of my pants situation, because I had thought that William was going to do the live tonight and I was going to rest up. And you can still hear I got sleep in my voice. This is kind of grumbly. When I wake up in the morning, it sounds like this. So enjoy. Buongiorno. Charlie says, our furnace went out a few years ago during a freeze and then the power went out. Haha. Luckily, we ordered a furnace and had them plan to work on it. Fingers crossed it goes smoothly for y'all. Yeah, if it was just the store, that's not that, we would have a little bit more flexibility because, we don't live in the store. So, but since we have a tenant upstairs, it's super important that we get that taken care of, so that John doesn't have, it's not good to have a tenant be in an apartment that's freezing. So we're going to run some space heaters up there, and that will hopefully keep things warmer and until luckily our neighbor happened to, speaking of keeping things warm, luckily our neighbor was looking at some crows, and Susie, she saw the window in her attic had opened by itself, and I don't know what that's about. I think it's because, like, maybe sometime in the summer I was cleaning the attic a little bit, and maybe it was a couple years, like maybe 2 years ago, I was cleaning all the windows in the attic. I don't know about y'all, but where we live, there are things called corpse flies, and if you, like, when it's cold and then it gets warm, they like come out, and that's really common of like old buildings. And so I cleaned all the windows because they kind of make them yuck, and I was vacuuming up there and washing all the stuff, and anyways, I must have not locked the windows and just closed them. And sometimes during the summertime, the wood swells and it makes it hard to close the windows, because we are in an older house. Things, we're super lucky, but it is an older house, so there are kind of some quirks. And so, like, this happens in new houses too, but if there's like a lot of woodwork, it expands and contracts with like the heat and the cold and stuff. And so I get in the summertime, the wood expands, and sometimes if you close the window, it's a little bit harder to close. And what I'm guessing is that at some point I closed the window and couldn't get it closed enough to lock it, and then just left it because it was closed. And you don't have to worry about somebody like slipping in through the attic. But we had a couple days that it was below freezing. And what I'm thinking is that the wood contracted, and the weight of the window plus gravity caused it to slightly open. And then, it got, more and more open. And it was a good thing Susie caught it, because we realized that there were a couple other windows that had done that. And I had felt a kind of cool breeze, and I kind of looked around real quick and I didn't see anything. But there was like a little bit of an opening in one of our windows downstairs, and then there was a great big opening in the window upstairs. So luckily she caught it, because we don't need to heat the neighborhood. And I mean, we don't have heat running in the attic anyways, but there's that. Anne says, I'm having a good day. I had an egg sandwich for dinner. That's awesome. Egg sandwich sounds delicious. Mary Jane is watching. Hello. Hopefully you're doing well. Yeah, William, he did some shipping and went up to the cottage and then ran up to Johnstown. I volunteered to help organize this group it's called Spark Metal Artists. And we had a fundraiser this past year where it was like a t-shirt fundraiser, and we did t-shirts and aprons. And the printer had some family stuff go on, and there were different kind of setbacks with the printer. So we just recently got the shirts and stuff. So amongst everything else, we've been helping pack and ship all the t-shirts and aprons. And so last night I was writing thank you cards to put in the last of the packages for that. And yesterday I also had a thing. I was trying to tidy up my workspace, and I had started a couple different polymer clay sculptures, and I was like, you know, sometimes it's like better to just reclaim the clay instead of trying to force something if you're not into it. So I was kind of on the fence about this La Befania ornament that I was working on. And if you don't know who La Befania is, she's the Christmas witch, and I never knew about her growing up. But a couple years ago, I did a series, and it was exploring all the different holiday traditions around the world. And hers was the one that came up. And there's a bunch of people in this area that kind of grew up with her as well, in the sense that this area has a lot of immigrant communities. So when they did the steel mills and different things like that and industry and stuff, they would actively recruit immigrants to move to the area, which seems to be the opposite of what's happening nowadays. But they would actively recruit immigrants to the area to work in these places. And so there are some really cool pockets of like Italian neighborhoods. And most people don't really think about it, but like they're Italian and Irish and Slovak and there are all these little tiny kind of little small communities of people who came, and they wanted to be around other people who were from places that they were at. So anyways, so I became familiar with La Befania, and started working on some ornaments, and I was going to make them for Handmade Arcade, but we just kind of ran out of time. and they were just sitting on my work table. And so I was crushing some of them because they were kind of rough and just really basic. So, and then I had one that was a little bit more further developed. So I put that on Facebook, and I said, crush or keep. And mostly everybody said keep. So I finished it up. Let's see. Let's see a couple more folks watching. Suzanne is watching. Hello, Suzanne. Susie Wyatt's watching. And says, oh, I also got a nice box of pretty things from Allegory Gallery. Oh, good. Yeah, William, he's been working really hard to get stuff out every day. I feel so bad because there was somebody who had ordered some things and hoped to get them for Christmas, and they wanted them for Christmas gifts, and they didn't really tell us that. And so we were combining shipping for, our people who order frequently. And what we're realizing is that some people like it, and then some people don't really care, and then some people it's just tricky because we've been holding stuff for people who kind of order regularly usually, but we're gonna have to figure out something so that we ask people if we want to hold over the things, because I think like William gets a little bit overwhelmed. I think when there's like a lot to combine at the end. So I don't know. We're gonna have to figure something out so that packages do go out a little bit quicker, and kind of streamline the process and like really verify if somebody wants their package right now or if they want to wait. Because one of the people, they ended up getting some stuff and they combined the shipping, and so he held the package and they wanted it for Christmas. And so, and this was a couple weeks ago, and they told him that they needed it for Christmas. And he said, sure, I'll put it in a priority box and no problem. So he wrapped everything up and kind of moved them to the top of the line and put it in priority shipping. And then it got damaged. We've had the most problems with shipping in the past month than we have in the entire 13 years that we've been in business. And I used to do shipping before this, but on a much smaller scale. And I never had, like, I can count on like one hand how many problems we had with packages. And like our local postal people, they're like super awesome, and we've never really had any huge issues, and they've always taken really good care of us. But I guess something must have happened in St. Louis. Um, and so, anyways, there was a big problem. And they were kind of upset. And it was really sad because we really like these people. And it was sad that we had disappointed them. Because for us, y'all are more than just people that buy stuff from us. You're people who we consider friends and have been there through the thick and thin of it, y'all. So, um, so it was really disheartening when they had expressed how deeply disappointed they were, and that they weren't going to be customers anymore because we messed up their thing. And I completely understand it. I know what it's like to have stuff not go right. So, we did what we could on our end to, we refunded everything and said, like if anything is salvageable from the package, consider it a gift. Um, but, and I don't know if we're going to be able to claim insurance on it, which is a kind of another sucky thing because the last couple times that we've had things go in the mail and had to file a claim, they were all denied. So, like, I had sent this necklace to Tucson for a show, and it had broken the mail, and they refused to honor that. So I know it's one of those things where I don't know what's happening with the postal service, and like I have ideas about it, but I don't know. But it seems like the quality of um, the handling, and maybe it's because they're just more overwhelmed. I remember reading that when the pandemic hit, it really changed how people shopped. So it like quadrupled the volume that people were processing packages. And even in our own business, our business used to be split kind of 80-20, and it was 80% walk-in and 20% online. Well, after the pandemic, that completely shifted and was 80% online and 20%. And now it's even more because we're only open a couple days at the Johnstown store. So we're at it's probably like 90 to 10 at this point. So I don't know if it's because we're doing more shipping that we're seeing more problems. It's like one numbers game where like the more you do something, the more apt you are to experience issues. I don't know if that's what it is, but you know, luckily, knock on wood, that I was trying to find some real wood, not laminate. Luckily, for as much shipping as we do, um, we're pretty lucky that there aren't more issues. There have been more issues than previously, but there haven't been as much as it could be, I guess. Angel says, hello, my dear friends. I'm late. What did I miss? Furnace breakdown. My fridge quit. Not quite 2 years old. Repairman said he would not work on high sense appliances. PSA. Company comes 12/26. The freezer still works. Wow. Oh boy. That's always seems like we're all getting something up with appliances. SMY said hi. Ian says your ornament turned out great. I got my gingerbread person today. Oh no, I had hoped that it got out earlier, but you know. Son says we had car trouble yesterday, but it's all good today. Didn't you get a new car? Isn't that a new car that you got? I can't remember. Michelle is watching. She says hi, Andrew. And Norma says, I love how your La Bafania ornament came out. Thank you. Everybody's saying hello. Vicky's watching. Hey, Vicky. Cheryl says, hi, Andrew. Please let William know that I received 2 amazing boxes today, including your ornaments and William's ceramic tree, all safe and sound. Hallelujah. She didn't say hallelujah. I said hallelujah. I'll share a pic as soon as I can find my battery tea light candles. So thank you. Oh, awesome. In my mind, Christmas is already over. So it's actually, we're not as late as I thought, if that makes sense. A lot of times we work, we make stuff for people to make stuff for holidays. So, for us, we start planning our holidays like several months in advance. So in my mind, I'm already on Valentine's Day, honestly, at this point, and that's two months and some change, 2 months away. So, anyways, because for a second I was like, oh my gosh, we're so late. And then I realized, oh, Christmas is in 2 days. So, whoosh. Suzanne says, I had a nice package today too. Oh, good. Suzanne says, I will say when I asked William to mail a gift package early, he did with no problem. Yeah, he is very good about if you have any requests, he usually goes out of his way to make sure that to do those things. So we do need to figure out a system where maybe we like combine shipping for like only 1 week only, and then at the end of the week have a hard kind of deadline, and then ship out everything that we have at that point. Because I think it gets where, like in the shipping area, our shipping area right now is like a bomb went off because there is like everywhere. So we'll have to figure things out. Susie says the USPS has been going downhill since the head of the post office has been in office. You know, that's why I kind of figured, because isn't he have like investments in other shipping companies? So it does, in my mind, it doesn't make sense to have somebody who will actively benefit from ruining up the post office so that their other company can make money. Like, you know, I don't get it, but I'm not in charge of things. Because if I was, that would be something. Norma says, I've noticed increasing problems with the post office over the last couple months. Things keep getting here to Nicholasville, and instead of being delivered, they make you turn and go on a tour. Yeah, you know, I've had some issues as well. And there are things like Amazon packages, like we still have to shop Amazon because where we live, we live in a town and but the nearest big town is Pittsburgh, which is an hour away, and we can't always go an hour away for certain things. So we have Amazon, and we use it, and we try not to use it a whole lot, but I mean, it is convenient. And so used to, because we had Prime and it was like guaranteed 2-day delivery. And sometimes it would happen like the next day. It was so fast. But lately, even Amazon's been taking a week and a half, and which is more like, I'm not upset about that because that's more realistic. I think when they were doing all that like wild next day delivery on and free shipping and all kinds of stuff like that, it's a really I think it sets kind of an unhealthy expectations for small businesses that don't have those resources. Like I remember like back in the day, and then maybe I'm dating myself, but they used to have print catalogs and you had to fill out a form and send it in the mail, and then they would take it, and there was a shipping and handling fee, and then they sent it, and sometimes that business could take a month. You know, you don't know how long it would take, or you had to call it up, and you know, you'd be happy if it took, like when we first opened the store, some of our vendors, it was like a 3-month wait to get stuff. And I know that sounds like a long time, but a lot of stuff they were like making it and packing and all this other stuff. So we were, you know, you kind of just build that into your time flow. But as things have gotten kind of like, I don't know, the rise of Amazon, it's just like all this next day free shipping and stuff is, I think it created this expectation that everybody could do that. And when you have like 11,000 employees, maybe you can for us, it was just really hard. Um, you know, we still try to keep on top of it. And William, he literally does shipping every single day. So even when he's taking a break, he's doing shipping every day. So it's not, it's not for lack of trying to keep up. But it's just really hard this year. And we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot in a couple different ways. And we're going to have to figure out some new systems. And luckily, we had a shipping help. And even with shipping help, we had some delays. So it's just something that we're going to have to think about and figure out and work with. I'm going to try to recruit some local people. We can't really have full-time employees anymore just because it's kind of a harder year for us. And with everything going on, it's really challenging. But there are a couple of folks who have said in the past that if we needed help, like just wrapping stuff up, that they would come. So I'm going to try to have that kind of initiate that and actually take people up on it. And because normally we're like, oh, well, we got it. It's one of those, it's a trauma thing when you don't ask for help when you need it. And I think we're going to try to ask and take advantage of people. No, that sounds not right, but take people up on the offers of help, at least until we get into this kind of a better system. But I do think that there are ways that we can, like if we institute a hard deadline on combined packages, like maybe if we're combining things, we put like a post-it note with a ship by date, um, then it will not be bogged down. And I've noticed also when we do combined shipping, people generally they talk about like how late things are, but they go by the first of the packages that were combined. They don't go by the last, I've noticed, but they are like, well, I ordered this 6 months ago, but then the last thing that they asked to add to their order was like a couple weeks ago. So, we just have to figure out a better system. And because I think William, he works really hard and he wants everybody to be happy. And, it's super important. But he works really hard, but I think it's one of those work smarter, not harder things. And we're just going to have to figure out a new system. But, we do what we can. And when you know better, you do better. Suzanne says, yes, flat tire on a new car. That sucks. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. And so that was perfect timing on the ornament. For me, I have an art ornament tree and I keep up all year long. Oh, good. Suzanne says, I'd be good with the 1 week idea. Yeah, I think that might be good. It might be a good system for folks to have a little bit more like an idea more of what they got, and can kind of keep up with that. I think sometimes people that order stuff and they don't really realize how much they're ordering. And then when they get this big package, then they're like, whoa. And then, so I think sometimes it might be better to send out smaller packages just for us, because I think it would be better. But we'll see. We'll try it out and see. We're still thinking of different ideas. Susan said yes, but consider who put him there. Yeah, I know. They're going to be reunited soon. and can do whatever people do that do that. Um, Anne says, plus there was no informed delivery or tracking back in the day. I feel like we get a bit spoiled. Yeah, if a package got lost back in the day, it's gone. It went into the universe and you just had to hope. For us, we got, and this just happened, somebody that we've been friends with for a long time, they must have our old address in their address book, and we got a Christmas card and it was sent to the old address that we have not been in for probably 10 years, and somehow they found us. So I think that's pretty miraculous. I mean, that's one of the perks of living in a small town, and everybody knowing everybody. But yeah, I thought that was pretty remarkable considering that, normally it'd be like return to sender, or somebody would just pitch it or whatever. It says, hey, bud, this is Michelle's husband, Jim. I was just listening in on the USPS situation. Call the insurance board and ask them if USPS is still listed, licensed, and an insurance agent or agency. If not, there is case law. Yeah, we can try. That sounds expensive. But Jim said Public Storage was sued in a class action lawsuit for selling insurance as a non-licensed insurance agent or agency. Yeah, that I'm happy to testify because I have all of the communications for that necklace. I sent this really beautiful pearl necklace out for a show, and it was in the show and they packed it up, but the box, when it came back, it looked like it had been in the World War III. It looked tore up, and luckily it was in a box inside of a box, so it didn't slip out, but it was mangled. And that I mean, in theory, I could be like, well, I could like hermetically seal it in a 3 foot by 3 foot box and then completely surround it by foam and have shock absorbers put on it. But like, I think that's overkill. Like under normal circumstances, your packages should not look like that. It should not look tore up anyway, regardless of if it's a regular package or not, you know. So, anyways, I filed a claim for that and they denied it. And when I sent pictures, they still denied it. And I was like, some of the pearls were so crushed that they had smashed the pearls in the package. So not ideal, but I'll have to look into it and see if anybody else is doing something like that, because I would happily testify and submit whatever evidence they need for that. Cheryl says, we get spoiled with an Amazon distribution hub within 10 miles of us. Even today, I still got some same day free ship, which surprised me. That's awesome. Yeah, we when I lived in New York, Amazon was still baby time then, but we were lucky and got stuff really fast. And you generally speaking, I before the pandemic, I would get stuff pretty quick. Um, but after the pandemic, I noticed within the past couple months, it slowed down a lot for them, and which is fine. I mean, I'm okay with it, but I know how once you're used to like same day or next day, when they take 4 days, it seems kind of It seems kind of hard. Jim says, while at it, talking with the insurance commission about how USPS is not honoring a purchase damage insurance on your mailed shipped products to your customers or incoming products as a business. And then he said he's giving the phone back over to Michelle. Love you guys. Well, it's nice to hear from you. Hopefully you're doing well. I know y'all had a couple hard patches here lately, so sending you lots of good energy and lots of healing and fortitude. Norma says, I like the 1 week idea. Seems like that would be easier for you guys to keep track of everything too. Yeah, so we also started doing this thing at the end of every live. What we started doing is we started pre-sorting everything. So we would, like, in the old system, what we would do is William would make the spreadsheet and invoice everybody, and then we drop it off at the cottage and then let Barb kind of sort everything out. And that's kind of what we have been doing up until this past couple weeks. I don't know. I can't remember when we started doing it. But then what we started doing is at the end of the live, we took a little bit of time, since it was kind of fresh on our brains. And after he would invoice, we would kind of pre-sort. And of course, we would, if people were watching the replay or doing something like that, then, you have to add stuff or adjust it or whatever. But he started pre-sorting the orders, and that seemed to help. So I think once we initiate that, if we keep that going, that will help. And then putting kind of the ship by dates on the boxes and having like a 1 week window, that will also help. And then I think also getting extra help in helping like volunteer people, just packaging. Like there's stuff that doesn't require any kind of, like, all you have to do is put it in the paper and wrap it up. And I think though, if we can do all three of those different things, 3 or 4 different things, then we'll be in a much better and faster and more efficient shipping thing. Michelle says, Jim again. Oh my God. So yeah, so we've been super busy and trying to get things going. William is at the shop now. The furnace went out there, so he's working with the HVAC people. I don't know, I turned off notifications on my phone for the live, so I don't know if they are actually there yet or not. But I'm going to flip the camera around and we're going to look at a couple things and then we'll go. All right. So you're going to see the ceiling for a little bit. All right. So I'm going to put this on and put this in here for color balance and Lucky Penny. Jim said, yeah, make the call to the insurance commission. It's free. They can look up any licenses for insurance agents. If USPS sold you a policy with no license, big no-no, you can file a complaint with the commission. Well, I'll try, and hopefully it works. But I mean, I have all the pieces from the necklace too, so, and photos and documents. Um, Michelle, or maybe Jim says, would have loved to see that necklace before. Sounds beautiful. Yeah, it was the Pearl Diver necklace. So I do have pictures of it. Um, and somewhere I have all the broken bits of pearls. So this is the La Befania that I made, the ornament. She looks greasy under this light, but that's the sealant. So they're all signed and dated. And by all, I mean this is the only one I made. But I use agates for the eyes. So I don't know if you she's got almost like I liked it because it almost looked like cataracts. And maybe that's not the best, but I thought it, she's supposed to, the way that she's described is she's this really like ancient woman, um, and who rides a broom and distributes presents. And I was not familiar with this particular legend or folklore, but it's supposed to be like the day after Epiphany, I think. Maybe the day before. I don't know. I can't keep track. But she flies around Italy and drops off presents for kids. So that's good. Susan says, I love her. If you're interested, maybe we'll do. Norma says, the eyes are great. That's one of her best features. Yeah, I wanted it. I ran out of some of my gloss eyes. So was looking around at different things I had, and I had wanted to make a sculpture with these agates beads, and this seemed perfect. And so there, I mean, you can see. Oh, real close. Too close. Too close. Nobody needs to be that close. I was thinking about like trimming her hair and making it kind of less poofy doofy, but I was gonna trim it, but then I was like, if somebody wants to trim it, they can trim it themselves. And also, one of the things I think is silly britches is like when I watch shows and they ride the brooms and then their hair is perfect. I was like, that must be an extra spell or an enchantment because when I had hair, um, believe it or not, I used to have hair that was down to my shoulders. If I went and there was a stiff breeze, my hair looked a hot mess, tangled all up, this, that, and the other. And it did not stay perfectly still, let alone flying through the air. So I kind of made the hair look like what I would imagine if she was like flying through the air and didn't have like a hair, um, what they call that thing when they wrap your head wrap. There's another word for that, but Miriam says, OMG, beautiful. Anna says, she is perfect. Thank you. I don't know if this will be the first one. Tonight is going to be a random night. And if y'all are looking for anything, let me know. I don't know how good this is going to be because I'm flying solo. Because William's at the Johnstown store and the furnace went out there. So he's messing with the HVAC stuff. But if you're interested, send us an email at info@Allegory Gallery. Let me put the ticker tape parade down at the bottom. To purchase from this video, take down each lot number and send it to us in an email at info@allegorygallery.com. There's only one of this, and I didn't make any more. And I'm running out of certain colors of clay, so I don't think I'm gonna, I don't know. I worked on a bunch of stuff last night, so I have a bunch of stuff. Like, I started working on some beads, and I'm gonna take some pictures and post it in our Patreon. So let me see. Let me quit the mail and then open it again. His mail drives me crazy. And that's normally I don't try to use that word anymore, but it does, because I like to keep my numbers to like 1, maybe 10, and his is at 84,000. So all right, let's see if anybody wants this. Oh, somebody claimed my Libafania. Thank you. That means a lot to me. All right. So is there anything y'all want to see tonight? I can't really do a total request, like a real one, because I don't have everything at my disposal. But I do have, let me get a little bit bigger bag so she don't get crunched up. I do have a lot of stuff right here. So if you emailed, sent, junk, where's the junk? We watched this movie Thelma, and the woman, she don't know how to use the email, and I was starting to feel a little bit seen when she was trying to do stuff, and I was like, I feel that. So nothing in our spam, but somebody did claim her, so thank you. Susie, I don't know where you email because I don't see it, but unless you emailed me. Oh, and I saw I'm gonna sorry y'all. I saw it. I don't usually check the email. Well, it's William's domain. So I don't know. Like, I don't oftentimes see what's in the mail, you know? So I saw an email from somebody that I needed to see, that he hasn't forwarded to me yet. So I went and sent that to myself. All right. Awesome. Thank you. So let me know. Angela said, just show and tell. Well, I need to make money to pay for the furnace, so I can't. I have to sell stuff, unfortunately. But I mean, I don't mind doing it. It's just going to be a little bit more higgledy piggledy than normal, because usually I have a little bit more of a system. All right. And if people like the lasagnas, I can't promise anything, but I'll try to make more if people want me to. So let me write this down. LBX2. And we usually sell these in the shop for $4 a strand, but I'll do these for $3 per strand. And let me see how many strands I have of this. 2, 4, 6, 8. 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. So I have 22 of those. And they're vintage plastic. William, he just joined and he says, finally got someone who will come look at the furnace. I'm hoping. William, do I need to run up and bring some space heaters for John? Let me know if you want me to do that, and I can take the space heaters out of the house, and run them up to Johnstown, after the live. Angela says, your show and tell leads to my bye. Makes me know what I didn't need. I know I need it. Oh, okay. Well, I'll just randomly pick stuff and then show you things. And then maybe, I know you got to pay for a fridge. So maybe what can I show that will, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. Michelle says, scared and liked. LOL. It should be shared and liked. But that made me laugh a little bit. Susan says, popping in for a bit. Hey, Susan. Hopefully you're doing well. Did you all get decorated? I know you have a big job to decorate. I was gonna surprise William and then like decorate in the nighttime and put up a Christmas tree so that the little girls could have a Christmas tree for the first time. And I was like, I'm too tired, forget it. So that did not happen. But I was thinking, like Anne was talking about having, I used to, in my old studio when it was in the spare room, I had these branches, and on these branches I would put things like ornaments, and I would put things like, I can't necessarily, we always try to support our friends whenever we can, and I can't always buy like a big piece, but generally speaking I can buy little things like earrings and stuff to try to help them. And so but my ears aren't pierced, so I don't really wear earrings. So I had a tree in my old studio, and I would put all the different earrings from our friends that we had kind of collected. Um, and then that way I can enjoy the earrings without actually having pierced ears. I did want to get my ears pierced because I got these really cute studs from um, like I don't know. When I was growing up, um, like piercing your ear was like a really big thing, and it like I had asked my dad, and he had grown up in the military, or he had been in the military, and he was like, "No son of mine is gonna get his ears pierced." And so I had a big hang up about piercing my ears for years and years. But then he's dead now, so I was kind of like, "Oh well, I can do whatever I want." And then I had that realization this past summer, and I got these really cute studs from my friend Wyatt, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna pierce my ears," and then we've just been too busy to do that. And then I was like, "How do I do that?" Like back in the day, it's little things like that that I don't think about. Like back in the day, you would get like a potato and a needle and do it. Um, and I probably could do that. I don't have that I don't have that thing where I can I can't puncture myself. I could probably do it. Um, but anyway, so we have these um LBX2. We just two of them have been claimed. Thank you very much. Um William says, I have the one from the cottage that I'm using here. John has one, he said, and my mom said she has some too. Okay, good. William said, person I found knows these boilers, so hopefully he'll be able to fix it. We'll see. Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't like that's one of those things like I can't even fathom having to buy a new one right now. Um, Michelle says, I got mine done at the mall. I looked at the ones at the mall, and then I saw the reviews, and they posted this picture, and it looked, and maybe your mall is different, but there was like a Claire, and they said, there's one review, and they're like, do not, in anything you do, get your ears pierced here. And I was like, well, maybe they're just exaggerating. And I saw the picture, and I was like, ooh. I don't know what happened, and I don't know what happened. Something must have got infected, and then the keloid happened, and then that got infected. But it looked like Nightmare Academy. So I was like, I would rather do it on my own if that's what's gonna happen. And then also Rio, they sell these little guns, and they're not real expensive. They're like $20, and you can get one time. It's like a ear piercing system. And you can actually get these like they're preloaded studs, and then they like shoot out, and they're really sharp, and then they like go in and whatever. But when you just buy the cartridges, and then you can have, and I was like, I don't want to be piercing people's ears. I don't like to touch people anyway, let alone be fingering their earlobes. Because at first I was like, oh well, maybe if I get it for myself, then I can get it for like I'll have a side hustle of piercing people's ears. And I was like, what kind of loving hands of home business am I thinking about? I'm gonna be pulling up a chair in my kitchen and piercing people's ears. um but who knows. And so back in the day, we went to Claire's boutique. Yeah, that's what I thought. And then I looked up the review, and then I got horrified. Susan says, yes, we're decorated. I barely got out cards and packages this year, but made it just in time. Just feel a bit tired and burnt out Ran to 6 places today. Tomorrow will be easier day, I hope. Oh boy, 6 places. Susan says, my ears were pierced by a nurse at the local jewelry store. Well, that's cool. Angela says, not interested in buying a new fridge, just a repair person. I'm going to find a repair person for the Lux fridge that doesn't cool, thinking I might have messed up the settings. You know, the ones, the new ones with like the computer and stuff. Is that the kind that you're talking about? Um, my friend, they got their new one with the computer and stuff in it, and they had it for like a year, and it just like melted down. And their old one was from the 70s, and that business had been running. I mean, I don't know how energy efficient it was, but their old one had been running for like years and years and years. And then their new one lasted like a year. So I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. Like maybe I'm just like prejudiced because like my dad, when he would look at cars, he always wanted to get an old car that he could fix himself instead of like getting the new kind that had like computers and chips and things, and you have to have something that runs the diagnostics and all that. But anyways, Suzanne says, don't go to the mall, go to a professional piercer. I'll have to look. And says, I mean, at the mall, it's probably some poor teenager with minimal training wielding this piercing gun. And then I understand tattoo places pierce ears these days. Yeah, there was one in Greensburg, and they got in contact with me after one of my friends recommended them. And then I looked at booking an appointment with them, and they booked up to, all the time. So we'll see. Maybe if they have a break in their schedule. And says, yes, the tattoo place would probably be knowledgeable. Michelle says, I think I was 11. It was the thing. They're still good. Well, that's good. I think and also I think when you're younger, you're more resilient. I don't know. Like I like would when I was youth time, like I would fall down and get banged up and scraped up. And like I used to ride bikes and stuff and would get all kinds of messed up, and it would be like healed within 2 days. Now, if I get a cut, it takes like 2 weeks to heal, and I have to be real careful. It leaves a scar. And like pimples, like I used to have a pimple, and you pop the pimple and then be gone the next day. Nowadays, I get a pimple, it doesn't pop. It just stays there and let it linger, and then it camps out for like a month or two. I thought when you get the middle age, you don't have to deal with this, but I guess that I was wrong. So, anyways, Suzanne says, I got 11 piercings. Go to a professional. That sounds good. Cheryl says the parents now take the kids to tattoo parlors for their ear piercings. Oh, okay. And then Suzanne says some tattoo places do, and then some don't. And says my ears suddenly got too sensitive to wear earrings suddenly after like 40 years. I miss wearing earrings. So is it like the weight of them? So can you wear like clip-ons? I know some people don't like clip-ons at all, but and then what about over the ear wires? Because they have ones that they go like this. They make like a C over your ear. The I don't know what that's called. The coxilla fold. I'm making stuff up, but it's like they go over it. It's like if you get great big heavy ones, that's how they hang them. Suzanne says, loves heal pretty fast. You can't sleep on your side until they are healed. Well, I don't sleep very much anyway, so that might sound not good. I might just make some, oh, she said lobes, not loves. Oh, and says all metals make my ears itch. What about niobium? I mean, I don't know if your hole's closed up or not, but have you tried niobium? Supposedly, it's hypoallergenic, super not have any kind of interaction at all. Susan says that satin. I just love earrings. They can really dress up an outfit. All right, this is gonna be LBX3. It's like the other ones. These are vintage plastic. I should probably try to sell the beads, but I get too carried away. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32. There's 32 of these. Holy smokes. And there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of these beads. They're vintage plastic and on a little strand. They're $3 a strand. These are really cool. They're vintage plastic, but they're really like high quality. These ones I got from a collection. These were made. The woman stopped collecting in the 80s. So I don't know exactly when they are from, but there's no mold lines, which is nice. And then they're kind of a milky translucence to them. And then they actually look like stones, but they're real lightweight. So if you're looking, I know we're talking about earrings. If you're looking for earrings, these would be great for them. And then if you're looking for sizes, there's that about 9 by maybe around 10-ish. They're kind of not an even shape. So anyways, there's 32 of these strands available. This is LBX3, $3 a strand. And said once years ago, I went to NYC without any earrings because I was packing light. Then I couldn't stand it and made my dad go in search of earrings with me on a Sunday morning. We found some. Michelle says, "Do you still have Christmas kits, Andrew?" I don't know. The Christmas kits, like the vintage Christmas. I think there's some. If they are, they're online. And I don't know when the sale ends. I have to. If William's still watching, he can tell. Um, but I can't remember when the sale's supposed to end. But there's a winter solstice sale, and you can save 20% off in the online store. And if we have the vintage Christmas kits, those would be you can save 20% off. Oh, I should mention that. Yeah, we are having a winter solstice sale in the online store, and in theory, that's still going on, but I don't know. I have to check. Angela said, those are the details that make your storytelling unique, talking about the vintage plastic beads. Oh, good. Yeah, I try to remember stuff, and I'm getting, my memory's not as good as it used to be, but so I'm gonna have to start writing stuff down, because I'm getting to the point where some of it's going away, but that's fine because I used to remember everything. I used to be more angry. Now I'm like, oh wow, what did they do again? And William's like, anyways, Sheryl says, have a good evening. Time to watch the football game with the fam. Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully you had a good time. I was real slow and got a whole whopping 3 lots shown tonight. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. And so the sale in the store is through the 28th. Thank you. That's good because we're still in the running for that Shopify thing, and we're just hovering around. I think we jumped up a little bit, but we just had a sale like a week ago, so I don't think people. I mean, we had a couple sales, but not any huge sales. Let's do. And I should put some here. Look at this while I look for something. I hate to leave this screen blank, and I hate it when William does it. So I'm gonna leave that there for now, and then you can look at it. Is there anything that y'all are looking for? Let me know, and then I can keep an eye out for it. It's always trickier when I'm here by myself trying to do something like this. Just cause. All right, I got a couple things. Whoop. I wasn't planning on going live tonight, or at least not live by myself. So I didn't prepare things in advance. So that's why we're higgledy-piggledy style. But that's fine. Y'all probably used to it anyway. I started working on a calendar for our lives, and I think that will make it nice. Even if it's not something that we publish, it's something that we can use for ourselves to keep organized. because I think that's good to because sometimes if you try to do stuff like on the fly, it doesn't always work. Like I did a couple tutorials, and I was pretty confident that I remembered how to do stuff, and I was trying to show a stitch, and I forgot about midway how to do it, and then I was like, this is the crappiest demo. And I know I'm supposed to like talk positively about myself all the time, and not do negative talk. But you know what? Sometimes if it's not good, it's not good, right? It's like if you eat something that don't taste good, and then you're like, oh, like who you lying to if it doesn't taste good, and you tell yourself it does and it doesn't. Like, I don't know who the winner in that situation is. But so it's helpful for me because then I can kind of plan out a little bit more. I don't know. I guess I'm on this like planning kick where I'm like, I'm going to make my life better and easier with a calendar. It's that time of year, y'all. Oh, did y'all know? Speaking of calendars, we just published our annual Beat in the New Year. And that is, if you go to our Facebook page, I think William put it on the blog and all that business. But we have our annual Beat in the New Year. And if you don't know what that is, there's a prompt of LBX4. Maybe let's do. We'll do these. It'll be $1. I think these are rhodium plated too. 2 for $1. Angela said, just saw your Beat in the New Year calendar on the website. Thank you. And it's a list of prompts. And I didn't come up with this idea. Fusion Beads came up with it. Every March they used to do this thing because March is National Craft Month. And back in the day, they used to make a calendar, and I would do it as like a participant, and it was like fast and furious. And it was really nice. I learned a lot, and it was really good. I liked it, and so I asked them permission if we could do our own version, and they said, "Heck yes!" And so maybe. I can't remember when the first Beat in the New Year was. Maybe 6 years ago. I don't remember. Maybe longer, 8 years ago. I don't know, but we've been doing it a long time at this point. Fusion Bees is not even around anymore. But anyway, so this is LBX for $1. Michelle says, so I looked and no more Christmas kits. I can ask William when he gets home, but I can't look for those right now because those are at the cottage, unfortunately. But I can look. And then this will be LBX5. LBX5. What we got? There's 2 of these. These ones, they're a little bit more because they're gold plated. Maybe I'll make them $2 for them. And these are the gold ones. They're kind of more textured in the sense that they're not completely flat. And this is some filigree. And I got this a long time ago. I got this in Raleigh, North Carolina. There was this amazing shop called Ornamentia, and the owner is named Cynthia Diaz. She has a book called Working with Filigree. That store is no longer around, but really kind of cool stuff. And she always had like filigree and different things. And when I lived in New York, sometimes I would go to this place called SCJ or CJS. And back in the day, it was a little bit scary. Like, and I want to say I went with Margot Potter, but I could be making this up. But the garage door that they had to go into the warehouse, wouldn't open all the way. So I had to shimmy underneath this garage door, and you would climb on these boxes to get places. And the boxes, I mean, you had to wear a mask because the stuff was like a little bit mildewy and stuff. Nowadays I think it's nicer, but back in the day it was a little bit scary. And you go in there and you could feel the boxes like disintegrating beneath you as you climbed on top of them. And at one point I thought, I am gonna die and get trapped in here and get buried under all this stuff, and nobody's gonna find my body until somebody be looking for some filigree, and then they're gonna find me clutching some rubies. They didn't have no rubies, but anyways. So that's LBX5, just $2, and there's only one of that available. I don't know if people like filigree anymore. I think it's cool. It's a good thing if you're gonna like frame a piece. For instance, this isn't cooked, so I'm hesitant to mess around with it too much. But like if you want to make it, I mean that's not the right size, but if you want to have it be a little bit more fancy and have a little bit of a frame. And it says, I just looked up that book and clicked on a listing on Amazon to look at it. It told me I already purchased it in 2019. I didn't even have this computer then. Creepy. Oh, well, is that from your Amazon account? They keep track of it. That's good because sometimes I forget what I buy. And then, like, I end up with like a bunch of the same book, or they'll change the cover and then I won't know. But so this is a way, and then you just put the jump ring through when there's a hole, and you can frame it. I could pick out a smaller piece. Like this would be cuter. Cut them wires off the back here. Wouldn't that look cute? It's like very festive then. It's like this, like gonna go to the Queen Elizabeth and got the ruff on the neck. So that's a good way of showing that, jazzing it up. And says, but creepy, but still helpful. That is cute. I said, yeah, I think filigree is great. Here, I'll give that, put that one in there. And then we'll do this one. LBX 6. What says this one 50¢? I hate to do that to one, make anything too cheap, because then his spreadsheet gets like real wild, like it gets real long, and then we make like $10. Ooh. All right. You want something unusual? Let's do something unusual. All right, so these ones. I used to hoard these with all my life. I hunted these down and I was like wild for them for all the longest time. And I still have a bunch somewhere. This is LBX7. And let's do these for $6. And there's just this one pair available. And let me tell you about them. All right. So these are vintage Japanese compressed cotton pearls. So I don't know if you can see in there, but they would take copper and wind it around these. That's what kind of has that kind of like turned look to them. So they would wind cotton around the mandrel and squeeze the heck out of it. So it's like super compressed. And then they would paint this luster on. So these cotton pearls are super lightweight. They weigh, almost like nothing. I was going to try to balance it on my finger, but obviously that's not working. But anyway, they're light. These make great earrings. Now, the one thing about these, and I'm gonna do the warning time. Don't get these wet because then they puff up. Now, there are things that you can do to seal the holes. Like if you get this part, it's part wet, it's no problem. If you get this, if the water gets in the hole, it puff up and then it's not, and then it cracks the stuff off. So it's like, those things, those pills from the 80s, and you put them in the water and then they bloat up and they make animal shapes out of sponges. I don't know if y'all had that or not, but like I was super fascinated. I was like, how did they get the tiny sponge or the sponge in this tiny little pill? And then you put it in the water and it bloat up. So these are compressed cotton pearls and it's $6 for the pair. So if you're interested in that flavor, send us an email at info@allegorygallery.com. So far, I haven't sold very much tonight, but I'm not very fast when William's not here. I'm not fast in general, so there's that. But I love those cotton pearls. And because you can make great big girl with a pearl earring kind of style earrings. And then you don't have it like, you don't end up Borneo style with your earlobes down to your knees because they're so heavy. So I think those are cool. They're super vintage. I want to say they made those in the 40s. Let me show you a different one while I go hunt some stuff. All right, this thing. I'm gonna look at that thing while I look for stuff. And let me know if you want to see anything, because I'm not opposed. I'll go dig something up. How about this? We'll go. I'll show you some stuff. Some metals. Angela said, I love the cotton pearls. I hope I get them. My email seems to lag. I haven't got any. Let me close down the mail and start it up again. I have got, the last claim I got was for LB2. And I haven't gotten a claim sent. Let me see if there's anything in the spam. Oh, that's a Gmail spam. Info, junk email. Nothing in the spam. And nothing. I haven't got, maybe, I don't know. I have to check. If William's still watching, I don't know if he can check on his phone. But, anyways, let me go and show you some things. All right. So I collect different religious medals and stuff. When I first started making jewelry, I didn't have a lot of money. So I used to go to like the thrift stores and flea markets, and I would collect different costume jewelry that had fallen apart or was broken, and I would make stuff out of that. And when I was doing that, like the mixed media jewelry stuff, like that was really popular. Like there was a book called Semi Precious Salvage, and I love that book. And there were people like Nina Bagley making stuff, and there was this woman named Penny Neville out of Australia, and I love that aesthetic, and I still occasionally dabble with that. But I made friends with this dude in Paris. His name is Kenji, and he used to go to the Paris flea markets and would buy stuff and occasionally send things back. Um, and for a while, we used to send stuff to each other. But I also still to this day, I look for different religious medals and stuff and collect them because I have a fondness for them. So this one has this, and it's $12 for this 3, which is pretty good. And this is a little silver, antique silver toned one. I don't know if you can actually see these things because the lighting is kind of off sometimes. And then my hands, this was like a magnet for the Mary Jane says I collect that too. Oh, cool. Angel says my email says it was sent to you. Let me see if I can go to a different way of checking this email. Are you sending it to info@Allegory Gallery? Mary Jane, I got one from you, but let me message William real fast. Alright, and I'll show this one real quick. Isn't that cool? And I love them. They're such a cool, Like, I'm super fond of, like, the meticulous detail, and I love anything that's been cherished. Like, a lot of these things brought comfort to people, and, I just emailed William. So that's fun and exciting. So it's $12 for 3, and that's LBX8. And I'm just gonna keep going, and hopefully William can figure out if the email is just lagging on my end. I do have some claims from tonight, but not from every. Mary Jane says I have sent 3. I know I got 1 from you, and I got a duplicate from you at one point, but thank you. Whenever I go on the live, it's guaranteed that I'll sneeze at least once. So here's another lot of religious medals. And when I Google these, sometimes they're $6 a piece. So depending where you buy them, they can add up. And I don't know. I don't see the point of overcharging people. A lot of these things I didn't spend a terrible amount for them, but I did have to go and find them. So, you know, that's how I kind of figure it out. Like, I don't like to overcharge for stuff. So, and this one is LBX9, and that's a double-sided one. But I do love that kind of semi-precious salvage. I don't know who's this. Holy Childhood Association. I love these old medals. And there's this guy named Kevin Potter, and he sells impression dies. And I have to resist the urge a lot of times. Look at that kind of cool way they frame that out asymmetrically. I have to resist a lot of times because I'm like, oh, I want that. But I don't actually use those too much. But hopefully one day we will, once we get the studio set up, because I think that'll be a real boon for people who come in and want to use the studio. Because if you had to buy all those dies by yourself, it kind of adds up. Maybe if people start using them more, then I can buy more. And then I'll be happy. So, not that I'm not happy now. But I kind of, since I don't really use them myself, I don't buy them as much. There's a couple that I may use. I may try to make some in polymer. But the metal is kind of hard to do. I took a artist residency at this place called Contemporary Craft in Pittsburgh. And one of my goals in that, and when I was working at Contemporary Craft, was to get used to using their hydraulic press, because I didn't have a hydraulic press at that point. The only way that I got a hydraulic press is because somebody I knew offered to give me their hydraulic press, so I didn't look for one, and they kept dragging me around, and they made a big deal about how they were going to give me this press, and oh, I'm going to give you this press. It costs a lot of money, and every time we were in this like friend group, they would make this big point of doing it, but they never did it. So I kind of like out of curiosity was like seeing like how much they were going for and different things like that. And I happened to misspell Bonnie Doon, and um, Facebook Marketplace it came up. And so it was in Kentucky, but it was like a fraction of the cost. And so I was like, oh my goodness, this is like a third of the price of a new one. So William and I drove, and we drove all night to go to this place in Kentucky, and it was in this winding roads in Hinman, Kentucky. And eventually I found out there are blue people there, and there's this really cool art center there. And we had stopped at, there at one point, and everything kind of looked like boarded up, and we're like, what's up with this? And there's all these signs, we will rebuild. And we didn't realize this, but earlier there was some wild flooding that happened, and there was a bunch of buildings and businesses that had, they were damaged and stuff. And we'd come in a couple weeks after that storm, and so they had done a bunch of stuff to like rebuild the area. But anyways, I got the hydraulic press for cheap, and so um, and and surprise, surprise, that person never did give me their other one. But I was gonna give that to this touchstone, but then I guess whatever, but that's fine. So anyways, I got a hydraulic press, so I learned how to use it at Contemporary Craft and get more comfortable using it. And then, oh, I love this one, the Infanta Praga. And this one has a flower on the back. I love the flower on the back. And it says, I think I fell in love with beads originally because of mine and my sister's rosaries the short time we were Catholic. I can still picture them. That's awesome. Yeah, my mom is Catholic, and she's very Catholic. And she has kind of like I call island Catholic. So there's a lot of kind of like indigenous stuff from the Philippines that's kind of woven into her Catholicism. And like some of the things in the Philippines, they take it to the next level. And like they do, like they recreate the Passion of the Christ, and like they straight up wear crowns of thorns and get hit and all kinds of stuff and dragon stuff, and it's not like makeup. And I was like, holy smokes. So there's a lot of that kind of like woven into my iconography as an artist, because it just was something that was around me a lot when I was growing up. And I know that like the rosary gave and still does, because my mom does the rosary every night. It gives her a lot of comfort. So whenever I see things that give people comfort or joy or happiness or relief in their life, I am instantly drawn to those things, because I do see that they have kind of an imbued and intrinsic power. And whether or not something is real, which is debatable, to each their own. I still find, or not necessarily real, but whether or not I believe it, I still can resonate with something, even if it isn't my particular flavor, if that makes any sense. Mary Jane says, my mom every morning. Yeah, my mom, if she did, since my dad died, she does it very frequently, and sometimes that when I call, she doesn't pick up the phone because she's doing it, and makes sense. But anyways, so there's these. This is LBX10. All right. Let me see if I can use this. My phone is a hot. There's a couple people who are watching on Instagram. Howdy, welcome. It's a little bit higgledy-piggledy because I'm doing the live tonight on my own. Oh my, here we go. Okay, so the cats must have knocked the router. Okay, so the cats have been super bad today. And I mean, not super bad, but they've been bad. And I think they knocked the router down because the internet's not working in the house right now, and it shows that the internet is that that it's still working, but it's not. So I changed it. All right, hold up, y'all. So LBX1 is claimed. LBX2, which is those orange plastic beads, I have ×2 claim on that. So there's 20 of those left. I have LBX3. There's 3 claims. There's 3 more claims. I got an LBXQ claim, which I don't know which one that's for. There's an LBX6 claim. Thank you so much. There's an LBX7 claim. Thank you so much. There's another LBX7 claim, but that one, I think there's only one lot of that. There's an LBX8 claim. Thank you. There's another LBX8 claim. There's another LBX7 claim. There's another LBX9 claim. Thank you so much. LBX10 has been claimed, and that's the one we're at. All right. So thank you so much. We got the email working, y'all. It wasn't the email, it was the internet. So, oh boy. Anyways, so, but one day I would like to go to Paris and go to the Paris flea markets. But I'm excited to go to Italy if we can make it. And this one's kind of like that last one, but it's a little bit different. This is LBX11. Now these are antique. So it's a 12. And they are harvested from other like broken rosaries and stuff. So if you so just be aware of that. Like this not stamped out new. This is old. And some of these are really old. And like I'm guessing that this is made of tin. It's got that kind of bluish silver color. And it's super lightweight. And so that's a lot of emails. Yeah, it's a lot of emails for a lot of the same stuff. So, this one's nice. So this is LBX11, and this one is still available. But so I go to different antique stores. And when we first opened the shop, there were a few more antique stores than there are now in Ligonier. And I kind of miss the old antique stores because they were real characters. Like there's this guy named Dwayne Hall, and he was like, when he came in here, when we opened the store originally, he would come by and he'd peek his head in and he was like, "What are you selling?" And we were like, "We're selling beads." And he was like, "What?" And so he would always look like, when we opened the store, we didn't have any money. And we opened our store with $10,000, and that was it, which is not a lot when it comes to beads, because I mean, it sounds like a lot, but it doesn't fill up, as you can probably tell. You can probably spend $10,000 and walk out with a bag this big if you aren't careful. And we had to buy our furniture, and we didn't have a POS system, so we wrote everything by hand. And it was just like, a simpler time. But one of the cool things about that was that the merchant community was really kind of tight knit. And not to say that they're not tight knit now, but I noticed that once certain people passed away, because he passed away, Dwayne Hall. My brother is also named Dwayne, so if anybody just popped on and then heard that, my brother's fine. But Dwayne Hall passed away. But so anyways, he would always kind of like save up and collect these little glass containers for us, because we use those to display our beads, and we still have a bunch of those original glass things. And he would tell me stories about, like, he got these ones and they were from the Civil War, and the edges were real sharp, so I ended up like sanding them down in the alleyway. I did use water, of course, too, so I didn't breathe in this sand, the powdered glass. But anyway, so he also would keep an eye out for me for when he got kind of things that he couldn't sell in his shop. Like if he got stuff, like I did repairs for him sometimes, and I learned to seed bead because somebody needed to repair this purse from the 1920s, and the purse strap was made of all these it was spiral stitch. And so the I had to remake the entire strap of this like flapper girl style purse with spiral stitch. And up until that point, I had been beading, but I never really seed beaded. I was mostly a stringer. So I was repairing different costume jewelry for different antique shops around town, and I would repair some of like their purses. And like there are these little metal mesh little purse bags, again from the 20s, and sometimes I would have to like reconnect some of the jump rings for them, and real basic stuff, nothing like soldering at that point. But yeah, so anyways, they used to keep an eye out for stuff for me. And sometimes I would trade for them, doing different repairs for them, and then they would give me all their broken jewelry. And so I still have some of those pieces. But anyways, this is LBX12. It's $12. That's upside down. That's a good one. And those are fun. So anyways, that's LBX12, $12. Mary Jane says, I love them all. Thank you. Yeah, I've been really lucky in that I find, well, the one friend that lived in Paris, he used to send me a bunch of stuff. And one time he sent me this large flat rate box, and it had all kinds of stuff in it, and I like screamed from the rooftops. I was so happy. So this one is a little bit more because it's sterling and it's tarnished. So I didn't clean it up because I know sometimes people want the patina. This is LBX 13. And this one is $12 just for the single, but it's sterling. So, and this is one of the crucifixes. And it's pretty cool because they did it in two parts. And then it looks like they soldered it on. And there it is. This says sterling up at the top. Right there it says it. And it's got the maker's mark. Probably I should Google it and see how much it's actually worth. But this is LBX 13. So let's move on to something different. How about these ones? This is Red Chalcedony. This is LBX 14. They were $5 a piece, but let's do them for $4 per each. And this is Red Chalcedony, and I think these are really cool. Well, I just got a claim for LBX13. Thank you. I'm so relieved that the email's working again. It was kind of stressing me out low key. And these are really cool. The thing I love about Chalcedony is that it's just got that kind of milkiness to it. And then you can tell that it's the Chalcedony because it's got that white. And sometimes what they'll do is they heat it up, and they have these little clay ovens, and they heat it up in the clay ovens, and it brings out these colors. So this may not be like the natural color straight out the ground, but they do. It's a very kind of like low tech way of doing that. And these are fairly substantial. It's going to be a random pick, obviously, because they're all different. They are beads, so they're drilled, and they have fairly substantial holes, which is nice. And they're simple cut. These would make great pendants. I mean, if you really wanted one, maybe you could take a screenshot, and William would get it for you. But it might be tricky. But, we're willing to do what we can do to help you all out, find the things that you want. For us, we just want to help you all find the things like really cool stuff. And, some people, they have, like, I knew somebody who they said, I don't get out of the bed for less than $1,000 a day. And, she came from like a corporate background. And, I can respect that, because it's super important. But I can guarantee you that there's way easier ways of making a living than selling beads. I've worked hard jobs, but being self-employed and selling beads as a livelihood, I can tell you that this is probably the most challenging job that I've ever had. And it's not bad, it's just something that's very feast or famine, or, there's easier ways of making a living is basically what I'm saying. And when I see somebody who, they like beads, but they don't really actually care about them. They just are just selling them to sell them, and they don't care about the people in their community. It's just they're just seen as like a dollar sign. I really don't like that. For me, it's not about like how much money you can make off of a person. Like at one of the conversations I had with them was she basically said she was talking about how she could squeeze more money out of people. And she's like, I don't care if they have financial problems. I'm just gonna do what I can do. Whatever. It's all about me, and I don't get out of the bed for less than $1,000 a day. And when she said that, it was kind of horrifying because for me, I'm so not like that. And then the other thing about that is that like online, she presents herself as like this real like down to earth person, and she's real kind of like only about like she loves the beads and stuff. But it just felt like there was a disingenuousness once I saw behind the scenes. And maybe that's my fault. They say don't never meet your idols or whatever, but I mean she wasn't my idol, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily true because I've met plenty of people who are just as delightful in person as they are online. But anyways, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 of these. And if you are interested in claiming any of these are $4 a piece. They were $5 a piece. So you're getting a good deal. And that's LBX 14, $4 a piece. And that's that red chalcedony, which is more like an orange. William's not here to give me a funny look if I run my mouth too much. So I better be mindful of what I say because sometimes things blow back and I get in trouble. All right. Let's do these. These are cool. They're great big. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Let me see. What is that? That was LBX 14, so this will be LBX 15. They were $6. Let's do $5 each. And then there's 9 of them. And these are agate. And I think they're pretty cool. They're all different. So you just kind of have to either you have to send a screenshot or we're just going to pick randomly. But I love that you got the banding there, and then you got that simple cut, kind of flat shape. These are kind of big, but this would be great for like the paddle on a wind chime. Maybe not, I don't know. But this would be beautiful, like to pick up the light. And they do kind of have these kind of paddly shapes. I've never tried etching agate. I don't know if that's possible, like with like armor etch. Have any of you tried that? But it could be cool. Maybe I'll do that as experiment. I've done glass a bajillion times, but I've never tried to etch agate with this. At one point we tried it in the laser, and I don't think it had the best results. It just kind of barely did it on the surface, and then that wasn't cool. But I could see this being like really neat, putting like stickers on it and then like etching it. Maybe sandblaster, you could do it. But the whole mostly on the long ways. I think these are cool. They kind of have a butterscotch vibe to them, which is cool. So this is LBX15, $5 each. These cool, simple cut, faceted slabs. And they're faceted, so they catch the light real pretty like. I'm going to leave that while I go and hunt something up for you. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. Boy, that went quick. It doesn't feel like I've been talking for 2.5 hours, but I guess I must be. So hopefully you all are doing well. Do you have any plans for Christmas? Or I know Hanukkah starts the same night as Christmas this year. And do you all have any ways of celebrating? Did any of you celebrate the winter solstice / Yule? I saw a really nice article in, I think it was, I can't remember. I think it was maybe the New York Times or Washington Post. And it was real nice about them talking about that. We didn't really do too much because we were doing our Sip and Shop event. But I think that that's a nice way of kind of acknowledging holidays as being, creative, and also kind of like being around other people. And I don't know. I'm not a big holiday person in general, but if there's crafts involved, I can be convinced usually. I might stay. I know William is planning to go over to his brother's house, and he makes a vegetarian lasagna. But I might stay home and work on some shipping and just wrapping up stuff to kind of help William. And maybe that can be his Christmas present this year, so that he doesn't get like overwhelmed with so much stuff. So we'll see. All right. And it said pretty. Mary just said, spending time with family. That sounds nice. Do you have a big family? You said you're in North Carolina. I had the bag here. Whoop. And now I can't find it. All right. Well, I think I might. Okay, here it is. What I'm going to do is maybe I'll get to 20 and then I'll call it a night. Because I have a couple things that I want to do. And if William is needing me to do Mary Jane says, I do in Texas, but here it's just me and my kids and grandkids. Well, that's nice. I'm going to be going to North Carolina pretty soon. I'm going to be in Brasstown And then I'll be up in Mount Airy. See my friend Andrea and Chuck. My friends Andrea and Chuck. I don't know. I have to check and see if they can see me or not, but hopefully I get to see them when I'm down there. So let's do these for $4 each. And then there's 2 of them. So this is LBX 16. And then there are these strands of this cat's eye, which is not cat's eye the stone, but it's like a fiber optic glass. It's kind of got that chatoyance in it, which is kind of cool. I when I was growing up, fiber optic stuff was like super popular. I don't know. My mom, she used to have these like flowers that were made of fiber optics, and then there was like a light bulb, and it was in the base, and then you would turn on the light bulb, and then it would make the flowers like glow. And then it was like that scene from Beauty and the Beast when Belle finds that rose kind of floating in the jar. Anyway, so these are kind of like a denim blue. I do have one coming up that's like a paler version of this. And these are approximately 4 millimeters, and you get a strand of this for $4. And I have 2 strands available, and these strands are kind of long strands. Let's see. These are 12. So about 15-inch strands. And this is, I remember those flowers, they sold them at the store, the state fair, when I worked there in college. In the Minnesota State Fair. I worked the Minnesota State Fair 2 years, and it was brutal. It was fun, but it was hard work. And it was like slammed. There was over, I think, like what, 1 million people that weekend, or 200,000. I don't know, but it was wall to wall people. And so I remember I was so sad to have missed you. Yeah, I don't know. It would have been nice to see you, but like people came and they came to see me, but it's like, hi, okay, back to out, because I was working for somebody else. So when I work for somebody else, like try to do, do a good job. So this is the cat's eye. This is LBX. That was 16, so this will be LBX 17, LBX 17, and $4. And there's only one of this. And these are 4 millimeter, and these are about 15 millimeters, or 15-inch strands. And this is just a wee bit lighter shade, a little bit more pastel. And that's that fiber optic cat's eye beads. I did see my friend Aisha. Do you know Aisha, Anna? She used to work for the Bead Monkey back in the day, and then she also worked for Goody Bees back before they got sold. And then she has a studio in the Casket Factory. Her company is called Everthine Jewelry. I'm just so proud of her. She's done so much and accomplished so much. I really am proud of her and her hard work. because she's a really lovely person and real fun too. And I told her about like wandering around, not this trip, but back in the day, I told her about how I was like wandering around downtown Minneapolis, like looking for things to do in the middle of the night after the show. And she's like, she got so nervous for me. So these are glass pearls. And they're pretty nice quality. Sometimes with glass pearls, you have to be careful because the coating can come off, which is just something that happens. LBX 18, but these are fairly good quality. So let's do 6. Normally those would be 8 because they're longer strands. And there's 2 strands of this mix and match. So this is LBX 18, $6 per strand. And I have 2 strands, and there's this kind of pearly white, a black, a kind of gunmetal gray, that's kind of bluish, a bluish kind of gunmetal gray. And there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, 55 beads on the strand. And the strands, this is 12 inches plus 4 inches. So these are 16-inch strands. And then the beads, they measure 8 millimeters. And it says, oh, I have heard of her studio. Yeah, there's a bunch of cool people. There's a bunch of artists that I follow that live, and they all have their studios in that area. Oh, I got a claim for LBX 17. I got a claim for LBX 16. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, thanks everybody for putting claims in tonight. If you missed the beginning of this video, the furnace at the Johnstown store just gave up. And so Williams, he was going to do the live tonight, but then we had an appointment for some last minute Christmas shoppers, and then the furnace gave out while he was there. So he's dealing with people he called somebody in who can hopefully help fix it, an emergency HVAC person, which hopefully is not too expensive. I mean, we were lucky because we made a little bit of money during the Sip and Shop event this weekend, but I guess easy come, easy go, because I'm trying not to stress out too much because, that's not super helpful. And Anna says, that might have been me claiming from the wrong email. Oh, okay. Well, thank you. Angel says, a friend gifted me pearls from her mother. They are costume, but very nice. The clasps and spacers were my desire, but haven't gotten the nerve to cut them. Well, go ahead. Do it for one of the prompts and the beat in the new year. Anna says, furnace issues are the worst next to plumbing. If it was just a shop and there's nobody in it, like we would put space heaters and, not worry about it. but it's been below freezing here, so, and we have a tenant, so we cannot be freezing out our tenant, like, so, we have to do whatever we can do to make it right for them. And they're pretty handy, and they actually do a lot to take care of that building. But they try to like swap out the thermocouple, and there's this kind of sus wire that they swapped out. That's like the pilot igniter wire. I don't know what it was. I'm not there, but yeah. So I'm hoping that it's an easy and inexpensive fix, and yeah, I don't know. Like, we're not really in a position to buy a new furnace right now, so I don't know. But anyways, so this is LBX19. These are like the last bunch, but a different colorway. So you've got kind of a darker green, you have kind of a cobalty blue, you have a lovely kind of bronzy copper color, and then you have this pale kind of sage green. And these ones again are roughly 8mm, and the 16-inch strand, and I think I counted 55 beads. I have 2 of these available. This is LBX19, and they're $6 a strand. All right. And this is exactly. Yeah, I mean, we can only do what we can do. William's already brought up some of the space heaters from like the cottage, and then his mom, she lives not too far from Johnstown. So she said that she can bring up some to help out if needed. And John, who is our tenant, he said that he has one as well. But the thing is, like, if it gets too cold, then the pipes can freeze. So, then there's plumbing on top of furnace stuff. So, I'm just trying to send out, like, all the positive energy I can muster that they get it fixed right away and get the heat going. Because I don't want John to have a cold Christmas. And I don't want to have huge bills for a furnace and potentially plumbing and all this other stuff. And then if it leaks, like what does it damage? And so anyways, trying to stay positive and not get like overwhelmed. I'm going to show this while I go hunt for some more things to show y'all. Have you been making anything? Have you been doing any holiday shows? What's your favorite holiday food? Do you have a favorite holiday food? I love a good like cracker and dip situation, because then you have flavor and crunchy, and I like that. Whoop. All right, I got a couple more things I found to show y'all. Maybe I'll do a few more than 20. because I was like, it'd be nice to try to do something else. Maybe work on something to raise some money for the furnace. But, all right. Anna says, good thoughts for you all. Mary Jane says, yes, sending positive energy. Susan says, sending good vibes your way. Thank you. Angela says, plumber was last week. Toilet leak. Cost was what a new porcelain fixture would have cost last year. Oh, no. That sucks. Anne says, these aren't specifically holiday, but generally get them on holidays and love them. Twice baked potatoes. My mom's are delicious. Mine are a bit gluey. I get that too. I need to perfect how to make the perfect potato. All right. I got these in Tucson a while ago during the pandemic, and these are particularly nice. These is strung up as a finished necklace, but you can take this apart. Don't throw this away. This sterling silver, y'all. This sterling silver. So this is the carat weight. It's 74 carats. And this is beautiful quality carnelian. And it's super lovely, very smooth rondelles. And these remind me of that they call it Indian corn. I don't know if that's like PC anymore, but that's what they used to call it. And this is without the silver. Let me see how big is this? Be 16, so about 18-inch necklace, but about 16 inches of the stone. And these originally were $50 a strand, so not a cheap date, but this is LBX20, and this was 50. I can do it maybe 45 strand. And this is very nice, love. Yeah, they have a beautiful color to them. And supposedly they're not dyed or heat treated. So very luscious quality. They always have such good stuff. Michelle says, okay, I found something else online I wanted. Oh, good. I'm sorry I don't have the holiday kits right off the top of my here, but they're probably at the cottage, and William would have to kind of look for those. But this is LBX20, $45. Thank you so much. And you got a claim for it. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm gonna try to do a couple more. I was gonna cut it off at 20, but I found some more things. And I thought y'all might like these. Okay, so take a look at these. These are really cool. They're irradiated shell. So they have this like rainbow luster on them. This is LBX21. And I can do them for $7 a strand. This should be more, but they're fun. They're kind of this intense kind of like flamingo pink, but then they've got this really cool irradiated surface, which gives it kind of that rainbow. And so it's pretty neat. It's got that kind of oil slick rainbow action going. And they're all different. And one side is smooth and one side's more like bubbly from the back of the shell. But they measure approximately about 19, about 20 or so. And then by about 22, 24, they're all different. So this strand is also, that's 12. And then about just shy of 16 inches. Michelle says, I'm happy with this purchase. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot to us. All right, so this is LBX21. Oh, we got a claim for that. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, everybody. It really means a lot to me. Yeah, I was gonna rest tonight, and then I was asleep because I just stayed up all night. And then William was like, can you do the live? I was like, oh boy. All right. So these ones, they're all different sizes. So I'm just gonna guesstimate. Well, how about this? I will test out. I'll get the biggest ones. And I'll pick out the small. And then keep those ones for a different lot. So this will be LBX. That was 21. This would be 22. And these are fairly substantial. This is pink opal. And they're pretty big. So this strand, when I originally got it, was kind of spendy, so that's why I broke it up. Let's say we'll do $5 each. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 available. So if you want these Jumbotron pink opal, these are really cool. Because you can almost see kind of like the shampoo effect in that pink part, which I think is really cool. Like this one is extra shampoo-y. And what I mean is like the movement in the stone. And then one of the ways that you can tell if it's pink opal or not is if it has a little bit of black. And those little bits of black are called dendrites. And they're basically like little stone trees that grow in the rocks. And supposedly they're still growing. I don't know if that's true or not, but I heard somewhere that the dendrites are still growing, but they're like growing on such a tiny scale that it would be like 100 million years and like this rock will be black. But I kind of think that's not real because I don't know. But if it is, cool. With LBX22, $5 each. And somebody was like, oh, do I have to worry about my stone turning black? And I was like, if your stone turns black in your lifetime, then you're like you're like vampire extra plus up in here. Because that's 100 million years. I can't even count to 1,000,000, let alone 100 million. Like that's when the calculator gives up, and it's like, what? E. Now I do have this one. I'll take that one out. Now these ones I have slightly smaller. These ones are not quite so jumbotron. And these will be LBX23. LBX23. And then these ones, since I did those ones for $5, I'll do these for $3.50. And there's 5 of these available. And it's more of that same material. I do think I actually kind of like Angela says pink opal looks like a good partner for the mocha mousse color of the year. Yeah, I could see that. I love that. Like I wasn't really a big pink fan for a long time, but I found there was this really cute children's boutique store, and they would order in all these different, like, super cute outfits for kids. And so I used to go and on my lunch breaks, I would go and buy stuff for my niece when she was little. And they had this calico print, which is like a floral print. And it was like a chocolate brown, and then it had these little tiny pink flowers on it, and I just so smitten kitten with it. And I realized that, like, pink doesn't have to be like super, I don't know. There's a lot of ways that you can tone it down or kind of change it so it's not like super duper like effeminate, which I don't mind, but some people they're like, "Oh, it's too girly," whatever that means. I mean, that's kind of a loaded statement, but you know, that's the world we live in. But anyway, so I think this is really lovely, and I agree. Like, this would look really lovely with some browns. I'm gonna do a show that's called Brown is Beautiful, and then it's gonna focus all on different brown beads and components. And usually every year, like right off the back, we do a kit that's inspired by the Pantone color of the year. So I'm kind of working on that now in the background. So I think that could be cool. So this is LBX 23, 350 each. And there's 5 of these stones available. I'm randomly going to pick it, but if you have a particular one that you want, you can let us know. I think they kind of look like desert landscapes a little bit. Like, if you've ever been hiking out in the desert, there's like this is like the foreground, and then in the background, sometimes the mountains. They have that song, the Purple Mountain Majesty. I never really understood that. I was like, how are the mountains purple? But really, I've seen mountains all different colors, and it's the way that the light hits them. And so this kind of reminds me of like in the desert. And then at certain times of day, like the sky can kind of take on this like almost hazy look. So this would be like a either twilight or something. And then I could totally see this as being like a little desert landscape. Same with this, like the clouds. Sometimes the clouds are low and they come in off of they're I guess it's the dust. And the dust picks up the light sometimes. But anyways, there you go. LBX 23. 350 each, 5 available. Oh, I got a claim for 2 of those. Thank you so much. Yeah, I really like I like pink now. I did a whole series and I was like in it to win it for the pink. And I just sold the Minotaur and the Prancing Fawn, the satyr playing the panpipes. So I'm excited about that. All right. So these one we talked about cat's eye before, and this is a synthetic. The other ones were synthetic. This is called eagle eye, and it's like a real cat's eye. And this is LBX 24. And I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 of these available. And we have these at $3 each. And these are really cool. This is a feldspar stone, and it has that chatoyance in them. So the way that this grows, it grows kind of in needles and it also grows in kind of like sheets. And so the light is not doing it really justice, but like certain moonstones is related, cat's eye, eagle eye, and it's this beautiful kind of very pale gray stone, but it's got there's a little bit of something in them. And there's eagle eye, cat's eye, and then moonstones, sunstone, and feldspar. Graphic feldspar looks different. It's got kind of like splotches in it. But these are cool. These they're oval and they're drilled on the long, and they measure approximately 25 millimeters by about 16 millimeters by about 6.5. All right, that's LBX 24, and I have 15 of these available. All right, maybe I'll do, I don't know. I need to go through and do a bunch of organizing because William has things set aside for the next installment of the D stash, so I have to go through that. But maybe I'll do one more. These are really pretty. These are a dyed chalcedony, and this is going to be LBX25, and then we'll do these at $250 each. And how many do we have? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I love the color on these. They're like watching the ocean. One of my friends, that I met at Aeromont, she sent me this video of the beach. She lives right on the Gulf Coast, and the water would look just like this, and you could see through it. It was not like, how sometimes, like I grew up in Orlando and we oftentimes went on the Atlantic side. The Atlantic side, you can't see through the water. It's like gray, sometimes brown. But on the Gulf side, the water is more clear. And where my friend lives, I guess it's a quartz beach. And there's a couple of different quartz beaches in the Gulf. Like a lot of people know Siesta Keys, which is outside of Venice, which is kind of Sarasota area. And but this is up more in the Panhandle. And she showed me this video, and the beaches are like this pristine white. They're bright, shocking white. And then the water is just like this see-through blue that looks just like this. So this is a dyed chalcedony. Got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of these available. They're $2.50 each, and they're quite lovely. Angel says, what is the most common color of chalcedony? Mary Jane said, blessed night, everyone. All right. See you, Mary Jane. Thank you so much. The most common color is kind of this semi-translucent kind of grayish white. So it's kind of like a clear that's like not completely clear. So that's the most common color. And then like it naturally comes in other colors too, and then it becomes different things. Like when it becomes blue, it's blue chalcedony. But then it's also related to like the agates. So There in certain parts, there's like in Oregon, they have ones that are called Holly Blue. Holley, not like Holly Berry, not Holly Berry like the actress, but Holly Berry like, grows in the yard kind of thing with the pokey leaves. But it's a town in Oregon, and the mine is no longer in operation, and it's private property, so you can't go and get them now. But it's a beautiful, almost like lavendery purple kind of color. It's really beautiful. And unfortunately, it's very limited in availability. The only other place where there's like a comparable kind of color like that is in Indonesia, which I think is kind of wild, but I guess it makes sense because like it's in that um like volcano kind of area. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but there are certain areas that have like way more volcanic activity. And in Oregon, I guess there's active volcanoes. I may be making this up, but supposedly there's like volcanoes in the ground. I don't know. And then in Indonesia, it's in that whole ring of fire kind of thing. And so whenever you get in those kinds of areas, you get kind of more glass and silica based things. So you'll get um, more like obsidians and peridots and things like that, which I think is pretty cool. But yeah, so there you go. All right, so I'm not going to turn the camera around. I think that's going to be it for me tonight because I've got some things that I have to do tonight as well. And I have to run up and see if William needs help at the Johnstown store. Um, so, anyways, hopefully all of you are doing well out there. If you are celebrating tomorrow, happy Merry Christmas or Merry Christmas Eve. Wait, Christmas Eve. Happy Christmas. I don't know. Christmas time, Yule time, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. I don't know if Ramadan's happening now. I don't know if what's the one? Uh, Not Diwali. I can't remember. But Festival of Light. May the light come and bright and shiny. Winter, that kind of vibes. Celebrations. Hopefully all are well. I don't know if we're gonna go live tomorrow or not. Um, we may go live because I may go live, so maybe I'll hang out because I'll probably be by myself tomorrow. So, so maybe I'll come hang out with y'all, anybody that wants to hang out. Um, Anna says Mount St. Helens erupted in the 1980s. I remember that. One of the coolest finds is I sort through a lot of different things, and I found this thing, and it was a collection of ashes from Mount St. Helen. And in theory, I have that somewhere. I don't remember where I have that, but I do. And I want to say that at one point people were making beads out of the ashes, but I could be making that up. But they'll make beads out of anything. I knew somebody that make the beads out of dryer lint, and I was like, it was kind of cool, but at the same time, I was like, let me think about their clothes. Like, what kind of stuff they got in the lint? But anyways. Anne says thank you, Anne. Susan says good night, all, and sending holiday blessings and good vibes to all. Yeah, and if you are having a blue kind of holiday thing, you can reach out to us. I'm around. William's gonna probably be with his family tomorrow. I mean, it depends what happens with this furnace situation. Who knows? But I know holidays are hard for folks. For me, it's I know I just said I was gonna go, and I'm like launching into story time part 28. Um, Last Christmas, our world kind of really changed dramatically because we went up to his brother's house, and then later that night, um, we got informed that William's job, his other job, had burned to the ground. And that has really kind of shaped a lot of this year because we lost a third of our income overnight. And I was pretty numb to it. I honestly, like, I didn't know, like, I was probably in shock mostly, but it was one of those things where when that happened, it was kind of like all of our safety nets were getting snipped, snip, snip, snip. And then, like, a couple days later, my dad died. And there was, like, a lot of stuff that just, like, snip, snip, snip. And even though, like, my dad and I didn't get along all the time, and, like, I mean, we got along okay, and we had worked really hard to, like, make amends and stuff, but we didn't always see eye to eye. But it was kind of like this part, like this, there were these things in our lives that had always been in our lives, kind of thing. Like, William's mom worked there, and then William's aunt worked there, and he worked there in high school, and it was always just there. It's like my dad, like, he was always there, even if we weren't talking or whatever, or we were far apart. He was always kind of like there peripherally. And when it just seemed like last year at this time of year, like, all these little things started, like, going away, and it really put things in perspective. And I was thinking about this last night or the night before last, and like, we had talked about the store and why we had moved to Johnstown. And we probably could have kept going here in Ligonier, and it would have been fine. I mean, it would have been hard, but it would have been fine. Um, but it was like a real wake up call when William's job burned down and when my dad died, and it kind of put things in perspective. It, like, reframed things. And, like, we had been working, 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 and William developed a heart condition from stress, and we were just like, what are we doing this for? Like, are we doing this? Like, we're not we probably won't have kids at this point. So it's like, why are we, like, trying to build this, like, legacy, this bead legacy that, you know we don't have any direct, like, heirs or whatever. I mean, William and I have nieces and nephews and stuff that, if they might be interested, but I don't know. It's like, I don't know about anything about that. So it's just one of those things where it was a real, like, wake up call, and we had to really think about things in a different way. And it just made sense to move things to Johnstown because it was a little bit more affordable, and we own the building instead of renting. And, like, instead of investing in somebody else, we were kind of investing in ourselves. So yeah. So anyways, um thank you all, and happy holidays. Angela said, I would love to hang out with you tomorrow. We'll enjoy the company. Well, if I'm around, I'm gonna hang out and we can make some stuff. Maybe, I don't know, I'll do show and tell again and do story time and dig deep and who knows what. Oh, Lennis says happy holidays. Happy holidays. Happy early birthday, Lennis. I don't know if we I don't know if we put the birthday present in the mail, if it'll get to you in time, but um anyways, you got, like, a running pile of things going. So anyways, I'll see y'all later. See ya.